Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm coming back at you again. And, some people, stay on, certain specific videos. They'll stay on a certain platform. But me, I'm a little different. I like to mix it up a little bit because what's going on in the world is very important. And a lot of our people, especially blacks and Latinos and Native Americans, for the most, besides, I know we have to worry about survival on a daily basis, but also we tend to not really care too much what's going on in the world, and the things that go on in the world do pertain to us and affect us. And this anti-media page right here, I'm going to read some of the stuff off of it because this is something that's been going on for a while and it's getting ready to come to a boiling head. Thousands of U.S. troops arrive in Europe in one of the largest deployments since the Cold War. And this was dated January the 10th, 2017. Just days after Zero Hedge reported that the U.S. had begun deploying some 2,800 tanks, trucks, and other military equipment to Germany, from where they would be transported by rail and road to Eastern Europe as part of a buildup of NATO reinforcements against Russian expansion. The next U.S. deployment has made its way to Europe over the weekend when some 4,000 U.S. troops arrived in the German port of Bremerhaven on their way to Wrocław, Poland, under a planned NATO operation to reassure the alliances of Eastern Europe allies in the face of what NATO has dubbed mounting Russian aggression, which is a lie. The United States has been wanting this war. The elite war machine need a war. They need a war for sacrifices to Satan, and they need wars for special interest groups that are in bed with him. War makes money. And this is what they do. And they're really trying to bring in the New World Order by any means necessary. And it's order by chaos. Enumerous e plurium. The American soldiers landed in Wrocław, home to a key NATO and Polish air base in southwest Poland. The troops will be followed by the roughly 2,800 tanks and other pieces of military equipment which are currently en route for Germany. The delivery of U.S. Abrams tanks, Paladin artillery, and Bradley fighting vehicles, as well as supporting troops, marks a new phase of America's continuous presence in Europe. Exactly. Which will now be based on a 9-month rotation. So how can you come to Europe and Germany and sit around the borders of Russia and then tell them basically you're on our land? You're on American soil. This wouldn't be happening if you would stay off our land. And this is the mentality of America. America has been a bully in the world. And according to the scriptures, for those who believe in the Bible, Russia is going to bring down the United States. Russia is going to be a key factor in the destruction of America, which is known as Babylon, according to the Bible in the book of Revelations. The woman that sits upon the beast, she's the spearhead of the beast system, which is also known as a European Commonwealth. As reported previously, NATO's latest deployment along Russia's western border falls under Operation Atlantic Resolve, a mission designed to demonstrate to Moscow Washington's commitment to defend allies in Europe. So now Europe needs some freedom. Europe needs help. We care so much about Germany. We care so much about Europe now, just like we care so much about all the other countries before we went to war in the Middle East. Atlantic Resolve was launched in the immediate aftermath of the Ukraine proxy war and the partition of the Ukraine, which sparked fears in the Baltic nations that Vladimir Putin was planning a similar land grab there. The Polish embassy in Washington said the troops in Wrocław were the first to arrive in Poland as part of the Atlantic Resolve. As the independents dubbed the U.S. reinforcement, the deployment has been described as one of the largest movements of U.S. troops to Europe since the Cold War. Quoted by Reuters, Lieutenant General Tim Ray, Deputy Commander of the U.S. European Command, said, "Let me be very clear. This is one part of our efforts to deter Russian aggression." Yeah, I bet. Ensure territorial integrity of our allies and maintain a Europe that is whole, free, prosperous. And see, there you go. They need some more freedoms. If America thought that there was oil on the moon and there was an alien race on the moon, they would try to fly to the moon and tell everybody down here on Earth that the aliens are being mistreated by other galactic aliens and they need freedom, when their only motivation would be to go get the oil and profit off of it, so the elite can add more to their $500 trillion wealth. Like, you could spend that in a lifetime, but hey, who can basically satisfy or quench the devil's appetite? It's uncanny. Instead, what the deployment will do is bring the continent that much closer to a new cold, if not conventional, war. Exactly. Planned as the books say, as the New World Order book is being planned step by step. The U.S. troops are expected to be stationed at 2 training sites in western Poland in the short term before they are sent to the sites at 6 other countries across the region. In another pacifist justification, Major General Timothy McGuire, Deputy Commanding General of the U.S. Army Europe, said that this is a tangible sign of the United States' commitment in maintaining peace on this continent. It is a sign of the U.S. commitment to this alliance and to peace and prosperity in Europe. Meanwhile, Russia has already deployed nuclear capable ballistic missiles in Kaliningrad in response to this latest NATO building up from where it has a bird's eye view of most of Central Europe. It has warned further deployment would lead to even more nukes. See, they're playing around with nuclear war. This is going to be the last and final war, period. The U.S. Army said the process of deploying to Europe was part of the training and tested how American forces would be sent at short notice to counter Russia in the event of an outbreak of war. Troops will be on rotation in Poland and beyond for between 4 and 6 months and will work alongside local units. The massive deployment means that the arrival of the 3rd Armed Brigade's Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division, will see the start of continuous presence and back-to-back rotations of U.S. troops and equipment in the region. Among the deployment to Romania and Bulgaria will be the 1st Battalion, 8th Infantry Regiment, dubbed the Iron Knights, and the oldest armed unit in the U.S. Army. The U.S. has also increased its presence in the Black Sea in Western Europe at bases in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Russia blames the West for worsening relations and says the buildup of NATO troops in the Baltics is provocation. And that's exactly what it is. Expect more complaints from the Kremlin. Around 4,000 NATO troops are set to be posted to Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia in the coming months. In addition, Britain will send an 800-strong battalion to Estonia, supported by the French-Danish troops beginning in May. Deployment was criticized as truly aggressive by Moscow. Right, exactly. Meanwhile, an odd voice of region, which has come to potential European war, has emerged out of German politicians who have raised concern about the thousands of NATO troops and equipment along the hundreds of tanks that have been sent to Poland and countries bordering Russia in what has been touted by Washington as defense against Russian aggression. And that's a lie. They keep blaming Russia. Russia, it's Russia's fault. Russia's doing this. And all it is war rhetoric. All it is blowing smoke and mirrors to the American public to try to side you with another war. And this time, the United States is going to get its ass handed to us. because the Most High is going to be with Russia to liberate the children of Israel once and for all. It does not help us if tanks will be going up and down on both sides of the border. Brandenburg leader and SPD party member Dietmar Wolf told RBB, "I hope everyone will keep calm. I will believe that despite all the difficulties, we should seek dialogue with Russia." He added on Thursday, warning that relations with Moscow would worsen even further. NATO's buildup in Europe also came under the fire from Germany's Die Linke party. Tanks do not create peace. Exactly. Anywhere Christian Gork stretches in a statement, RBB reported, Tobias, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that, slammed the stations of the U.S. tanks and military equipment in Poland, saying this will trigger an arms race and lead to escalations in relations with Russia. And crowds of people marched through Birmingham on Saturday to protest the deployment and transport of NATO troops and weapons through the city. Exactly. RT reported, the Russian Times, I believe. Hundreds of Americans' tanks and trucks and other military equipment bound for Poland, said to be the largest arms shipment since the fall of the Soviet Union. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to read all of this. But you see the war machine, America. America is just a military muscle for the New World Order. You know, Europe is the financial. The Vatican is the religious control. And United States, once again, is the muscle for the beast system. And this is what the elites want, third world, and they're going to get it. And this will be to their demise. And with that being said, Shalom, I'm out.